Mr. President. Are you ready for your portrait to be painted?
Yes, Elizabeth. I am ready.
Excuse me, I'm from the New York Times. I see you're getting your portrait done. Would you allow me to interview while you have your portrait taken?
Oh, I'm not going anywhere. Come on in.
Thank you, Mr. President. You came from what most of us would think of as being society's upper crust. You lived in Hyde Park, graduated from Harvard, and you were a lawyer of one of New York's prestigious firms. How would you say that some would say you had already found a successful career. Then you entered the political arena, became a New York senator. Did you have any plans for one day running for president?
No, not really. I ran for president because I was inspired by my fifth cousin, Teddy Roosevelt.
These past 3 years have been fearful for so many Americans, and yet you said in your inaugural address that the only thing they had to fear was fear itself. How is it that you were able to understand and encourage an entire country to persevere and keep trying?
Well, you see, I've had polio for 24 years now, and I first got it when I was 39, and I have full body paralysis. But through perseverance, I was able to regain my upper body strength through swimming, and I was able to hold myself up in the water. When I was paralyzed, I was worried that I would have to retire from my political career, but look at me now.
As you mentioned, you've had polio since you were 39, but it's left you completely paralyzed in the legs. Did you feel this has impacted you in your presidency?
Yes, I believe this has affected my career greatly. I couldn't let the people know I was crippled, or they would think I was a weak leader, and the same thing for other countries, because they think America was weak because it had a cripple for a leader. So I had to be probably one of the best. I had to be a great actor. In fact, I believe that me and Orson Welles are some of the best actors in all of America.
When you were first elected, you called a special session of Congress, which was being called the 100 Days. Could you tell us a little about the changes that were implemented?
Well, the 100 days wasn't a meeting of Congress. It was my first 100 days as president, in which I tried to end the Great Depression. I was trying to get Americans back to work, protect their savings, and create prosperity, and I also tried to provide relief for the sick and elderly, and get industry and agriculture working again. I tried my best to fix these problems with the New Deal.
I know that your critics have said that you were extending the government's power too much. Who's been your biggest opponent, and what plans have they ruined?
Well, it would have to be Pierce Butler, James McReynolds, George Sutherland, and Willis Dan Venter. They struck down many parts of the New Deal, and they always voted against everything I did, saying it was unconstitutional.
I know of them. You called them the Four Horsemen.
Excuse me, can you move a little bit to the right, Mr. President?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what do you say about allegations of packing the Supreme Court with your supporters?
Well, I think if I didn't try to do that, I wouldn't be able to do anything, since the Four Horsemen would go against everything I did.
What would you say are your greatest achievements?
Well, that would have to be the New Deal.
You've been talking a lot about the New Deal. What was the New Deal?
Well, the New Deal was the policies that I made to help end the Great Depression. It included the Emergency Banking Act, and later added the WPA to give jobs to those who had none. You may have heard of it. Unfortunately, the New Deal didn't end the Great Depression. It just helped to soften its blow. The Great Depression only ended because we joined the war.
Do you have any regrets?
Yes, my biggest regret would have to be not getting America into the war sooner.
Why did you feel it was important to defeat Germany before Japan?
Well, Europe was on the verge of collapse by the Nazi force, so we had to take out the bigger threat. Besides, if we didn't help Great Britain, all of Europe would be under Hitler's control, and America would have to fight him by itself.
Alright. Even while the war was being fought, you were concerned about stability after the war. Can you tell us what you did to help reestablish order when the war ended?
Sure. I just recently came up with the idea for something called the United Nations to help keep peace. I'm just waiting for the right time to show it to everyone.
That's pretty interesting. So, Mr. President, how do you feel about...
I'm sorry, but we'll have to finish this later. I'm having a terrible headache.
But, Mr. President, the portrait is unfinished.
We'll have to finish that later, too.
We never did finish the painting. Mr. President died of a cerebral hemorrhage 3 days later.